welcome to another episode of Grammy's Protein Kitchen. I have been on a health journey since 2024 and have been able to lose about 70 pounds with the use of a GLP-1 medication. And I'm going to be cooking protein recipes. Today I'm going to make probably like a chicken lentil soup, just sort of throwing things together into the crock pot. I have about 2 pounds of chicken breast. I weighed that out when it was bagged. We get it in bulk and vacuum seal it and freeze it. It's still partially frozen, but it'll cook quickly. Well, slow cooker, not cook quickly, but it'll be cooked by the time we're ready to eat it. I am going to add to the crock pot. I've got celery and carrots. It's about equal amounts of each. Throwing that in there. And then I have some onion. It's not a whole onion. I had this in the refrigerator. I just chopped it up to finish it off. So let me throw that in there. And then I diced up three red potatoes. I didn't peel them. I left the skin on. Don't mind the skin on them. So why peel them and lose out on that extra nutrients from the skin? And then I have a cup of lentils that I rinsed, and they're going in there. Okay. And I have a can of diced tomatoes, and I'm gonna put, I did not drain them, just stuck the whole can in there. And then I'm going to add, I get my garlic in the jar because I don't use it usually fast enough to buy a head of garlic, and it winds up going bad. So I'm going to add about 3 cloves of garlic to the pot. And then I have some other spices. I have about a half a teaspoon of cumin, a teaspoon of smoked paprika, and a teaspoon of thyme. Just adding that in there. And now I'm going to add a cup of the container of bone broth. I usually try to find the bone broth as opposed to just regular chicken broth if I'm getting it at the store, because there's more protein in the bone broth than in the regular broth. Sometimes if we make a roasted chicken or a roasted turkey, I will cook down the bones and freeze it in 4-cup packages. So you can use homemade, you could use store-bought, it doesn't really matter. So we're going to throw that in the crock pot. Put about 2 cups of water in there and see where it takes me. Yeah, that's got everything buried pretty good there. Give it a little stir. Right, I'm gonna put the lid on the crock pot, and I'm gonna set it to high, and we'll wait couple hours, and then I will take the chicken out and shred the chicken and put it back in the soup, and then we'll be able to eat. I'll see you when it's done. Okay, we're back at our soup. It's been on about almost 5 hours on high. So I did test the potatoes and the lentils were done, and the chicken should be done. And now we're going to shred our chicken. So you can either shred it in the crock pot or you can pull it out to shred it. I'm going to pull it out. We have 2 pieces, 2 chicken breasts in here. So I'm going to shred this and then dump it back in, and then I'll pull the other breasts. These were pretty big breasts. So it was pretty much meat that we're putting back into the crock pot with the soup. In all, this should be pretty hearty. There's plenty of meat, there's plenty of lentils, there's potatoes. Just a very hearty meal. Okay, I just finished shredding the second breast, and I'm getting ready to put that back into the crock pot. Okay, let me give this a good stir, get that all mixed together. Okay, and let me just pull out a scoop of this and give it a taste. And let's see, very good, very hot. I probably let it cool down a little bit before I eat the rest of it. I put this into a calculator on my phone, and 1/6 of the soup, and I'm not quite sure how much I have, but I said about 6 serving, figured about 6 servings. A serving would have about 391 calories, 46 grams of protein, and 11 grams of fiber. So this is pretty high fiber, or well, yeah, pretty high fiber and high protein. That'll keep you going for a while. And let me first apologize too for the sound quality at the beginning of the video. I failed to have my microphone on. I will put the ingredients and measurements that I used on the screen when I edit this. That way, if you couldn't hear it quite right, then the ingredients will be listed as I'm putting it in. And if that's something that you think is beneficial, let me know, and I can try to do that with each recipe. Put the ingredient listing on the screen as I'm putting the ingredients in the soup or in whichever recipe that I'm doing. So thank you for joining me today, and I will see you next time. Thank you. Bye.